Welcome to the overview and history of the ProWorlds and Zeal Clickiez switches. The ProWorld switch was the first iteration of an MX switch that used a click leaf in order to replace the slot for the LED. The ProWorld switch was created for a series of Taiwanese keyboards called the SKB keyboards in a long series of Taiwanese keyboard clones. These keyboards looked like the Model FAT, but rather used either MX clone switches like ProWorlds or other MX clones. The manufacturer of these keyboards was believed to be ProWorld, the creator of the ProWorld switch. However, there's no factual evidence. The only evidence we have to go off of is the click leaf is the same dimensions as other ProWorld switches that were produced under the same series of keyboards. The keyboards can be very difficult to identify when it comes to regarding which switches come inside. Various Taiwanese MX clones come in these keyboards, and therefore it is a real gamble to identify which ones come with ProWorlds. Even if you do get a ProWorld keyboard, it might not just be clicky, but it might be linear as well, which is the removal of the click leaf within the switch. The dimensions of the switch are identical to normal cherry switches, but include the removal of the LED housing and are the same dimension as the north side of the switch itself. These square notches in the MX slider allow the slider to interact with the click leaf. Therefore, these are the only noticeable changes to the MX slider that are different from a normal cherry MX switch. You're able to see the slider interacting with the click leaf so that it presses on those square notches, allowing the click function to activate. ProWorld switches have a more distinct click sound when they are pressed and are more similar to Alps than other switches. This is due to the plastic composition that is used in the ProWorld switch. I found some ProWorld switches in late August of 2019. I had enough switches to produce a 60% keyboard project that I have always wanted to do. Therefore, I decided to keep the 60-ish switches for myself for this keyboard, and the rest I would try to find someone to replicate the switches for the community. For a quick sample of the typing test of the ProWorld switches, please see the keyboard typing test video that's also on my channel in the top right hand corner. So in late 2019, I reached out to Zeal as he was also looking for a clicky ProWorld switch in order to help the community and find a nice in between with regards to MX compatibility and also Alps tactility. So this was a perfect opportunity for the community to get an introduction into these switches and to have a nice Alps clicky feel in an MX package. Now, ProWorld switches don't have the greatest of molds and therefore are generally pretty rough, unless you find them in absolutely immaculate condition. Therefore, getting a new mold made for these switches would be quite expensive. Also, you'd have to recreate the click leaf, and therefore we'd have a better QC process with regards to modern technology. Throughout the process, I would provide additional input with regards to the new version and what it was compared like to the original ProWorld. After obtaining the prototype, I gave some feedback about the overall smoothness, which was greatly improved compared to the original ProWorld, and also the click sound with regards to the original as well. The new click sound and overall smoothness was greatly improved, but also the click sound sounded more hollow due to the different polymers used in the housings. Afterwards, Zeal took this feedback and made some more modifications, which were then incorporated into the production clickies. Some changes made from the original prototype is cutting out the corners of the click leaf, which gives the clicking sound a bit deeper, and also adding the logo of Zeal to the bottom of the top housing as well. Now, clicky switches on a microphone don't sound great. They don't come across 100%, and for the new switches, I would say they more sound like popping Snapple cap kind of, but a bit on the higher pitched end. While I don't have a full keyboard of clickies yet, what I'll do is give you a sound test of each of the clickies, including the prototype, and then also I'll compare it against blue and also white Alps. Both Alps switches will be new old stock. So you can replace the click leaf in Zeal Clickies as long as it meets the same dimensions. I will list the click leaves that are compatible below in the description and also show you some, as well as you can replace the spring in these as well, but you have to note that it is gator on cap switches for the spring diameter. So the additional click leaves that we can use are ProWorld, KPT Blue, and Taiwan Jet Access. These all are the click leaves that I've been able to try thus far, and I will put the images of the switch and what they look like from the external above. If you notice anything different, and or if you find one that works as well, please let me know. Now, if you're going to use any of these click leaves, I'd highly recommend putting a switch film between the top and bottom housing, as sometimes it does not 100% click properly, and adding the film just increases the distance between the top and bottom housing properly. I had this issue with regards to just the KPT so far, but there might be additional issues depending on if there's some tolerance with regards to the housing and the click leaf itself. I hope that this gave some more context with where the switches started and where they're currently at. I hope that the system will continue into the future and we're able to build on top of it, and who knows where this will take us. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one.